Morning. I'm Rocco Parisi. I'm from Italy. I live in Italy. I studied in Italy, and I play especially the bass clarinet. I love this instrument because I think it's the instrument is like a work who is good for me. I love clarinet too, but bass clarinet for me is much better because I have more possibilities. And my love for bass clarinet was born many years ago, because I studied clarinet first with Maestro Giuseppe Garbarino. I think you know Giuseppe Garbarino because he's the clarinetist were Bucchi dedicated the concerto for clarinet solo. My teacher was a first clarinet in Scala, and in the past time he had an ensemble called Ensemble Garbarino. And we played it a lot of contemporary music. And Maestro Garbarino said me, please Rocco, when I need a good bass clarinet, I don't know who call to play. Study bass clarinet and come with me with the ensemble to play. And I followed him, and I studied bass clarinet in Holland and in Belgium. And after it was very interesting. I felt with him, with bass clarinet, very well. And I started to play contemporary music. I think one thing, I collaborated with many composers, many great and interesting composers. Surely the most important one in the past time, because he died, I think 15 years ago, was Luciano Berio. Luciano Berio is a famous composer because for clarinet he wrote Sequenza number 9. I met him in Turin during a recital, a solo recital I gave. Quite crazy, because I played it gestural piece, Paganini, I played it Bach, I played it Eric Dolphy, God Bless the Child. And I didn't know, but Luciano Berio was in the audience to listen to me. And when at the end, he said me, please Rocco, come in my hotel and play Paganini for me. I was without the word, because you have to know that Luciano Berio loved Paganini music. Me too. And I made a transcription of Capriccio 24 for violin with the bass clarinet. Of course, this elaboration is better than transcription. Is interesting for the technique, because I don't want to imitate the violin. I want to imitate the virtuosity concept by Paganini, because Paganini at his time, few people loved him because he played it the violin in totally in a new manner, and few people loved him. And I tried to transport the concept of the virtuosity to the bass clarinet. It means that, of course, for example, in the variation, when the violin played two strings together, for me it's not possible. But I can give the idea, because with few things like a grapes note or singing one voice, singing with voice and playing at the same time, like in the variation number 3. And Maestro Berio was excited to listen to me, and he invited me to play again Paganini in his hotel in front of him, and I did it. After, he called me and asked me if I wanted to work to make an elaboration, an adaptation of Sequenza number 9 for bass clarinet. And he said that is this piece a new one, because Berio took the more interesting things. He loved the low sound of the bass clarinet, especially the C, the B flat real sound. But at the same time, he loved the high sound. In fact, the highest sound is an F, an E flat real sound. And you have to know that the extension or the range of a bass clarinet is 4 octaves and a half. 4 octaves and a half is if we see a piano has 8 octaves. Bass clarinet 4 and a half. It's too much for a wind instrument. But this is it's lucky, because it means that you can play everything you like. What you think it's possible to realize in this instrument. Of course, when you play in as a solo, because if you play in orchestra, you don't need to play in the high register. No. There are many other instruments that play in a high register. In orchestra, and one of the first who used this instrument is Wagner. But the first solo for bass clarinet is not by Wagner, and not by Meyerbeer, as many people is thinking. The first solo for bass clarinet is by Saverio Mercadante. We know, all clarinetists know Saverio Mercadante, because he wrote a very nice concert for clarinet and orchestra. You have to know that Saverio Mercadante had, in the 1836, he was invited for the carnival in Venice by the Venice Theatre to write a new opera. And when he arrived, he met all the orchestra, and he listened a strange instrument. It was the glitchy barifono, played by Caterino Caterini. The glitchy barifono is the father of our bass clarinet. And we can consider him as the inventor. After him, there is, of course, the bass clarinet, the glitchy barifono of Caterino Caterini was had a different shape. It was like a bassoon, and with the bell here and the mouthpiece, the body like bassoon, and the bell here. Of course, this instrument had many problems because for intonation was the first. But Mercadante wrote one solo, and is typical as like an Italian aria variata, we said, and the opera was good, but nobody remember. But on the paper in that time, they wrote that they listened an instrument who can play like a soprano and like a basso at the same time. This is fabulous, because after Caterino Caterini, there is Desfontaine, a French people. Desfontaine was the first who made a bass clarinet like our instrument. But after him, there is Adolphe Sax, who fixed exactly the instrument like like we use usually. And it's very, very interesting. And you have to know that at that time, the range was three octaves and a half. We are talking about 1836. The premiere was, of course, in Venice, the March 8, 1836. So when many people say, but you play very, very strange, but I don't play very, very strange. I play music, and I use my instrument just for playing music. I'm not giving to me some instrumental limit. No. What I have in my mind, I try. I don't care about fingering, about music, just music. And I'm very happy because when I talked with Luciano Berio, okay, I'm sorry. When I talked, I worked with Luciano Berio 4 days on sequenza number 9C, and we talked a lot. We talked a lot about these problems, because all Berio's sequenzas had the same virtuosity concept of Paganini. It means play the instrument without limit, just for realizing the idea, the musical idea. And I was very happy and to work with Maestro Berio, because I learned a lot of things by him. After another great composer that died this year was Ennio Morricone. I met him in Rome because he listened played to me, and he dedicated a piece. The title is Come un'onda for solo bass clarinet. He, like Berio, was very interested in the instrument, and he said to me, "But please, Rocco, you play music. You play music?" Yes, I said, "Maestro, my aim is playing music. I don't care if it's difficult or not difficult, technical. Of course, music it's more important." And for this is very important to have an instrument, good equipment. But we talk after. 2 years ago, I played it in Bangkok with Thailand Philharmonic Orchestra, a piece by an American composer, very well. The name is Arthur Gottschalk. He's teaching composition at Rice University in Houston. I met him, and he brought this concert for me, titled Rocco e Rollo, that I recorded with in a compact disc. I recorded with the Slovak Radio Symphony Orchestra, and this piece is very interesting because there is a little bit of jazz, of contemporary music, of funky. It's very interesting. And it's interesting, it's more interesting, the people who is watching bass clarinet, many people, they don't know which instrument it is. And many of them said, "But Mr. Parisi, why your sax is black and not gold?" I said, "I'm sorry, I like black." But for people to see bass clarinet playing with an orchestra as a soloist is not usual, of course. But another great collaboration I had is with Maestro Arturo Marquez. Arturo Marquez is a Mexican composer, and he wrote for me Danzas Mestizas for bass clarinet and string orchestras. I played it 2 years ago in Ostenda, and last year in Bruxelles. Fantastic piece, our 4 dances, and I met Maestro Marquez just in occasion of the premiere, but he didn't ask me about the combination of sound. He didn't ask nothing. He sent me the score, and of course he wrote for me, but he said me that he listened on Spotify, on YouTube, and he knew me, not personally, but on YouTube. And this piece is fantastic, 4 dances, very different, because the first is Huapango lento. The second dance is Zarabanda Primera, a sort of theme and variation. The third one is a blues, exactly a New Orleans blues. And the last one is a song. The song is a Cuban dance. very, very interesting, very lively. But you could say me how to play, how to make this. For playing with all this very, very, very nice thing, contemporary, you need an instrument, a good instrument, of course, that good equipment. I have my old instrument, and now I'm playing a new instrument that I collaborate to make. It's the Royal Global, and this instrument, the sound and the technique is fantastic. I hope to play next time living, not to see all of you. But you need an instrument, good instrument, who help you to play, of course, because if not, it's too heavy playing. But you have to know then that many people is saying me during the master classes, but if I play in orchestra, I need one mouthpiece and one kind of reed. If I don't play in orchestra, but I play with piano, I need other thing. I agree, because during my concert, for example, next week I have a concert in Italy, in Bergamo, and I play not contemporary music, but I play Arpeggione Sonata by Schuberth. Why Arpeggione? Because first of all, is an incredible piece. Incredible. I love Schubert, and this piece that he never listened because he died before is is written for a strange instrument, arpeggione. But arpeggione is an instrument, a middle between a guitar and between a cello. But nobody is playing this instrument. It means that usually all instruments like bass clarinet, double bass, saxophone, all instruments that don't have many literature, played this piece. This piece, of course, is written in a Schubert style, and we have to think the same thing as before. When I talked about Berio, about other Morricone, Gottschalk, Marquez, and many others, there is no time to say all musicians who wrote for me, and very, very good piece, very nice piece. But the concept is always the same. If we want to play well, we must play, we must think about music and not about the technique. Because if you say, by arpeggione, yes, it's in A minor. Yes, for us is a B minor. It's no problem. But the last movement is in A major. B major for us, no problem. 5 sharps is nothing. We have a very, very nice instrument. It's important to have a very good instrument, because you could play easily. But the aim must be always the music. After Arpeggione, I played a piece very, very, very nice. It's not written for bass clarinet, but for cello. The second movement of the sonata by Rachmaninoff for cello e pianoforte and piano. It's a fantastic piece. After I play, I made a transcription about of a piece by Debussy of a waltz originally for piano. The piece is Le Plus que Lente. And good, very, very nice piece, fantastic. And at the end, I play the variation by Carmen, written by Francois Born. This piece is for flute, but I made an adaptation for bass clarinet, who is published. But no contemporary music, because this concert is a regular concert hall, not especially for contemporary music. And I followed what Berio said me when I met him, and I repeat again, we worked 4 days on Sequenza 9C. He, each day he said to me, please Rocco, don't play just contemporary music. Play contemporary music, but play Paganini, Bach, because audience need to have a balance. Berio is good, but for example, when I gave a master class in Turkey, in Istanbul, and after playing Berio, I invited people to ask me something. One said to me, please, but I don't know if you invented all or do you played it all? Because of course, but was for joke. But I can say I played exactly all is written. But he was an amateur, and he liked music, but not too much contemporary music. And I said, believe me, I played it all. After I played it Paganini, the Capriccio 24. And he said to me, I believe you. You played it all sounds in Berio. It means that audience need a balance, contemporary, traditional. And my next concert will be just traditional, because it's not, they didn't want contemporary music. And of course, not play contemporary music. But it's very, very important. I mean, it's not very, it's important to play music, because when you play, people never said, you are playing a bass clarinet, what's it? No, 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 it's music. When people is listening to the music, all is good, because they enjoy it. They enjoy music, they enjoy your playing. And this means that next time I can propose a piece, a contemporary piece, or a different piece, different program. And they, audience, usually when listen concert, they don't know, as I said before, they don't know bass clarinet. It's always it's hard to see in the regular concert in regular concert, in the regular season, concert season. Some of them said, but I see some time in the orchestra, because of course, in orchestra, it usually plays, but it plays from music on the, from Wagner till our day, because before was not invented. And of course, in orchestra is different. It's a different playing. But now, maybe, if you like, I can say about my equipment, because it could be useful. I use Royal Globa, Rocco Parisi model, bass clarinet, and my mouthpiece now is the Lomax, but I'm playing with a Playnik 2. It's fantastic. And I use the Ambipoli reed by Silverstein. And is Ambipoli is different from the regular reed by Ken, because is better. Of course, I immediately one said, but the sound of the regular reed is good, but is good also with Ambipol, the Ambi by Silverstein. And if I play, nobody is listening if I play with a regular cane or Ambipoli. And this is another thing very, very important is the breathing. We have to know exactly how breathing, because many people, many students said me, I cannot play because it's the instrument is too big. The instrument needs air, many air, but it's not true. It's not true. The instrument, the bass clarinet, of course, is not simple to play very well, because the range is 4 octave and a half. But if you play in good manner, for good way, I can say you could play with a shoulder relaxed, with a good breathing by diaphragm, and playing with not with a hard reed, but soft, but not softer. The result is good. And especially try to play always with in tune, always in tune, because playing in tune is very, very important. We cannot play if we are out of tune, because I remember I worked in orchestra for many years, and playing in tune is the first thing. After you can have the dark sound, light sound, good, bad, but we can discuss about it. But we cannot have any discussion about the tuning. The tuning is the first thing in all register. Because many people are saying, but is simple to play in the low register, in the medium, in the high? No, I know, but you have to practice. You have to make a good equipment, to find a good fingerings. And after, when all this is like a puzzle, is good, you can play very well. I hope you could help about this my talking, and I hope to I would like to thank all of you, and I hope to meet you, because online is good, but in presence it's much better, I think. Bye bye.